Hey guys, YouTuber Editor. Alright, now here I am to finish off these Muppet movie reviews. And to finish off, here I am with a review for Muppets Most Wanted. Yeah. So, yeah, like I said in my last review, this is really like the only straightforward sequel to a previous Muppet film. Now, of course, this film is the sequel to the Muppets, and really it's really said as just immediately right after them or where the Muppets ended. So yeah, it really just really picks up just right where the first film left off. It is similar to films like Bride of Frankenstein and Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2. How those films really do pick up right where the first films left off. And yeah, that's the case here too. Right where the Muppets ended is where this film really starts off. So yeah, I really do like it that way. You can really just put both films together, and if you were to edit them together, it would really seem as if they're just one movie. Yeah, so I really do like sequels like that. And yeah, overall, I would say that once again, this was a pretty good film. I mean, yeah, there were some people that felt they didn't really hate the film, but yeah, there were some people that really just weren't really yeah, they couldn't really get really that into this movie like they did with the first film. So yeah, I guess you can probably say the first film is probably better as a film, but yeah, this film overall, it does seem to be more of a Muppet style film, because yeah, this film really does seem to have more of the Muppet style humor that a lot of the other films have had than the first Muppet film of this one did. And yeah, yeah, and yeah, this film really does have still does have some fourth wall jokes in it. I mean, they do acknowledge that this is a sequel, and yeah, some other jokes like that. And this one also does have a pretty similar premise to The Great Muppet Caper. So yeah, it is kind of interesting that the first film really does kind of have a similar tone that a similar plot that the original Muppet movie did, with where the original film was just the formation of the Muppets, and with the Muppets, it's just with them getting back together. So pretty much yeah, it's pretty much them just reuniting, and it is done in a similar way that it was done in the original movie. And with this one, the Great Muppet Caper, there's a robbery going on, and yeah, that's pretty much kind of what is going on in this film too, where there are two really um dangerous criminals in this film. Yeah, they're criminal masterminds, and they're working together to steal some jewels. So yeah, it is kind of similar to the plot of the Great Muppet Caper. Yeah, and overall, it is a pretty good movie. I think. Yeah, of course, in this film, you still do have the same cast of Muppet characters. Yeah, there's still Kermit, Miss Piggy, Fozzie, Gonzo. Oh, Animal, Ralph the dog, Dr. Teeth, and the Mayhem Band, the Swedish Chef, Bubble the bear, and of course, Walter is also back in this film. Yeah, and just yeah, all the famous puppet characters that are back in this film. Yeah. Although, yeah, I kind of question like I just said, they did bring a Walter back for this film, but where are Gary and Mary? They don't even appear in this film at all. I mean, you figure if they would have stuck around with Walter after he did become a Muppet, but yeah, they just disappeared. They're not in this movie at all. So yeah, that's something I do kind of question. Why weren't they back in this movie? Yeah, and yeah. And the human cast for this film, there really isn't a whole lot the main human cast. Yeah, the main human cast for this film was just Ricky Gervais. Yeah, is that how it's said? Ty Burrell and Tina Fey. But yeah, this film once again does have like a list of celebrity cameos in this film. There's cameos from people like Tony Bennett, Diddy, uh, Celine Dion, Lady Gaga, Salma Hayek, Tom Hiddleston, Frank Langella, James McAvoy, Miranda Richardson, Danny Trejo, Stanley Tucci, and Christoph Waltz, Usher. So yeah, there is quite a number of celebrity cameos in the film. So yeah, it really does just have all the famous Muppet movie elements that we've seen in the previous films, and as I said, it does seem to be more the traditional type of Muppet film where with the Muppet style humor this film has. I mean, there is more Muppet style humor in this film than there was in the previous film. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, this film also does kind of have a story that we have kind of seen before, where it's case of mistaken identity with identical looking characters, because of course in this film the main antagonist is a frog, a criminal mastermind, Constantine, yeah, and yeah, of course he looks exactly like Kermit, you see him right here, this is him right here, so yeah, and you can see he's pretty much really identical to Kermit, but yeah, as you can see, he has a mole on his face right there. Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, in this film, he switches identities with Kermit, and Kermit is suspected of being a Constantine, and then yeah, Constantine is posing as Kermit to really uh, cause the Muppets to really do what they're doing in this film. The Muppets in this film end up going on a tour for their shows, and yeah, and in every location that they go to, who the Constantine, as well as his accomplice in this film, Dominic, who is also known to be another most wanted criminal. They're working together to really steal some merchandise and stuff. They end up stealing and well, yeah, I should say they're stealing just various objects in this film, and what their objective really is in this film is to steal the British crown jewels, and that's throughout the film that's what they're trying to get to in this film. So yeah, and in this film, of course, Kermit is locked up in the prison that Constantine escaped from, and so. Oh yeah, in this one, Kermit is really just locked in there, and he really can't escape until the Muppets then eventually realize that Kermit, that who they think is Kermit isn't really Kermit, and then they travel to save Kermit, and then yeah, Kermit is able to break out of the prison with the help of the other Muppets. Yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, in the end, it's basically kind of like a Prince and the Pauper type of story, where the two frogs finally do come together, and nobody can really tell which one is which at first until it is finally revealed which who's who. So yeah, so it's really that kind of story where it's two identical characters together, and they swap places. As though here it's done differently than it is in The Prince and the Pauper, where in The Prince and the Pauper it was done voluntarily, and neither one of them was really evil. And this one, one actually is evil, and it's involuntary. So yeah, 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 just like in the previous Muppet film, this film actually does have true antagonist and a villain in it. So yeah, I guess I can admire that about the film, that it really actually does have a full-on villain in this film, where none of the were before the previous film, really none of the Muppet films really did have full-on villains. So I do like that these two new films really did do that, and actually did give these films a true antagonistic villains in this. So I do like that. And yeah, as I said, this film overall, it is good. I think it is a pretty good continuation of the previous Muppet film. And yeah, it does, as I said, it does have more of the Muppet style humor than the previous film did. Yeah, I mean, maybe it isn't like as well paced as the previous film, and that's probably why like not everybody was really like that you could really like get into this film as they did the previous one. But I mean, it is still a good film. Like if you're a Muppet fan and if you haven't seen it before, I would recommend it. I do think it is worth a watch. I mean, yeah, it is definitely like funny. I mean, sure the story might be like kind of cheesy, but yeah, I mean, if you can really get past the cheesiness and if you really just do like the Muppets and really just do love the Muppet style humor, I mean, yeah, you'll get plenty of that in this movie. So I really don't see why this film really wouldn't be worth at least a watch. So yeah, so I would probably give this film oh, it's tough because I just really don't know like how high or how low I want to rate this because I don't know like if I really want to give it like a lower rating and say like it's not as good as like a lot of the other Muppet films. So I really don't know. I mean, it's a tough. Yeah, it's just kind of like tough to rate this, but I think I would probably like still like go and probably like around the I guess still around like the 3.253 and a half stars out of 4 range. Yeah, it's like in a range like that. I mean, yeah, I want to like I think I might kind of like be leaning towards the 3.25, but at the same time, I mean, I really would kind of like feel bad if I were to like rate this lower than I have a lot of the other Muppet films because I really don't think it is like weaker than necessarily than the other Muppet films, but I don't know. It just is like since like a lot of people really well yeah there were like quite the number of people that really weren't into this like they were the first one, and this film probably isn't like really like as well paced as the first one. Oh, it's just a hard one to rank, but yeah, you'll see my final rating for this film down in the description. Yeah, but it is still a good film and it is still worth a watch and it does have a lot of funny moments throughout. Alright. So anyway, yeah, I'm already like 12 minutes into this review, so yeah, let me just talk about the premise of the film. So, as I said, the film does start off like right where the first film had ended. And then yeah, after like they like were celebrating like outside of the theater at the end of the first film. Yeah, they then were just like, yeah, they then like did like acknowledge that this was a film because yeah, they brought up the camera was still there, and then yeah, they then just had a musical number about being a sequel. Yeah, yeah, that's something else that this film has. Just like the previous film, there are like quite a bit, like a few musical numbers in this film. Yeah, and then eventually they end up meeting um eating like a being like a supposed manager of a fictional international talent agency named Dominic uh, Badgie. It's like spelled bad guy, but he says it's pronounced Badgie. And then the Muppets really just like were not really certain what to do. But then yeah, Dominic then suggested to the Muppets that they should go on a European tour with him as their manager. Which the Muppets then agreed, and as they were traveling to Europe, it then showed that uh, Constantine, who was like as I said, he was a criminal mastermind frog who like looked exactly like Kermit, just with a mole on his face. He ended up escaping from a Siberian gulag, and then yeah, it was then like revealed that he was in a cahoots with Dominic, and they had a plan to work together to steal the British crown jewels. Yeah. And then, as the Muppets then were in Berlin, as Dominic was securing a show at a prestigious venue, yeah, it showed that Kermit was just having some real frustrations after like all the requests that the groups had for him, and also like Miss Piggy like pestering Kermit about getting married. Yeah, and then yeah, Kermit was just so frustrated that Dominic then just suggested to Kermit that he should just go like on a stroll to cool off. And as Kermit it was like on a walk, then Constantine then ambushed Kermit, and then yeah, he then just glued like a stuck-on mold that looked exactly like Constantine's onto Kermit's face, and then yeah, he then just yeah, Constantine ended up just slipping away, and then and like other citizens then just saw Kermit, and then they then like of course thought he was a Constantine, and so then Kermit then ended up like being arrested and then taken back to the Siberian gulag. Yeah, and then Constantine then of course then ended up posing as Kermit, even like covering his mole with some green paint, and then then like as I said, he was posing with Kermit as a Kermit, and then Dominic was then just covering up all of Constantine's blunders. They were. He was just saying that the reason that Kermit's voice is different is because he's come down with a cold, and so then the Muppets then just really did believe that Constantine was Kermit, but Animal was really the only one that knew that he wasn't Kermit. Yeah, and then it showed then as the Muppets then were performing in Berlin, and Constantine and then was like, of course, like opening the show, posing as Kermit, but then he ended up just freezing in the audience. And so then as the show went on, Constantine and Dominic ended up like stealing paintings from a museum. Yeah, and then it showed that there were these two agents, Jean-Pierre Napoleon from Interpol and Sam the Eagle from CIA, like grudgingly teaming up to apprehend and who Napoleon says is the number 2 criminal in the world, known as the Lemur. Yeah, and then once Kermit ended up being brought into Siberia area in the gulag, at first like all the other prisoners of course did think that he was Constantine, but then they then like realized that he wasn't, and then one of the prison guards, Nadia, who then like knew that knew who Kermit really was, but she was like infatuated with him as well. And then when Kermit like was always trying to escape from Gulag, Nadia was always thwarting his attempts. And then she just like refused to let Kermit go, and just saying that he's there to stay. And then she then just like pretty much like forced Kermit into organizing the prisoners' annual talent show. And then like meanwhile with Constantine and Dominic, then and as they were like following instructions on the painting that they stole, they then diverted the tour to Madrid, Spain, and then as the Muppets were then just asking Kermit what they should do for their next performance, Constantine was just like telling the Muppets to do whatever they want, and then then like Walter was like the one that really just seemed confused on how Kermit was acting, and then as the show during like their show in Spain, Constantine and Dominic then ended up like destroying a room full of busts, and they were looking for a key that they needed for their plane in a museum. And and the show turned out being like a true disaster, but there was still like some real critical acclaim for it. And then as Sam and Napoleon were then like investigating more into these crimes that were going on, they noticed that they've been going on as the Muppets are performing. So then they then pulled the Muppets aside for questioning, but they like saw that the Muppets are too ill-equipped to be guilty with this, and so then they let the Muppets go. And then the instructions on the key that Constantine and Dominic stole led them to schedule like their next show in Dublin. And as they were in Dublin, then Walter then like discovered that Dominic had actually been bribing critics to ensure like a packed house for the for the shows and rave reviews, and as well as selling tickets to the critics. to extend the audiences. And so then, and yeah, as Walter then went to tell Fozzie about it, then Fozzie also was reading about Constantine, and then Fozzie and Walter then realized that Constantine is like the one in Kermit's place right now, and Dominic is his accomplice. And then once Constantine then like discovered that they the two of them knew who he really was, he then started to go after Walter and Fozzie, but then Animal was able to fend off Constantine enough to give Walter, Fozzie, and Animal time to escape from the train and go after Kermit. Yeah. And as this performance was going on, Dominic ended up like stealing a locket from a museum, and then at the end of this show, Constantine ended up proposing to Miss Piggy on stage. Of course, like Miss Piggy still thought that he was Kermit, and she accepted. And then they planned their ceremony to be held at the Tower of London, which is of course in London, England, where the crown jewels are actually kept. Yeah. And then, yeah, Fozzie, Walter, and Animal then eventually arrived at the Siberian Gulag, which was on the night of the prisoner talent show. And then, yeah, Kermit then used that as a front. And once he was then like reunited with Fozzie, Walter, and Animal, then they were able to escape Gulag. And yeah, there was like and then there was like one prisoner that like ended up approaching Kermit, asking him like a question, and this prisoner was actually played by Hornswoggle. So yeah, I was kind of surprised to see Hornswoggle make an appearance like that in this film. Yeah. And then yeah, Kermit, Walter, Fozzie, and Animal then took a bus back to the rest of the Muppet gang. Yeah, and then yeah, they ended up like infiltrating the London Tower as the wedding was beginning. And yeah, and then like with the help from Bobby Benson's baby band, Dominic was able to steal the jewels. Well, yeah, but then yeah, as the ceremony was going on, when the time came for like the I do's, Kermit then ended up interrupting the ceremony, and then yeah, Kermit was fighting with Constantine as well as like Walter or Fozzie and Animal, and then yeah, and Kermit and Constantine were then just right beside each other. And then, yeah, Miss Piggy then was just like trying to find out who the real Kermit was. And yeah, she could tell by the way they were acting who the real Kermit really was. And then, yeah, Constantine's ruse was then revealed. And then he like revealed like his mole. And then he like had a bomb that was like implanted in Miss Piggy's ring, but then yeah, Kermit and the other Muppets were able to separate Miss Piggy from the bomb as it went off. Yeah, but yeah, Constantine then tried to take Miss Piggy hostage and fled to a helicopter, but then Dominic was in the helicopter, and it was revealed that Dominic was the Lemur criminal that Napoleon and Sam were after, and then Lemur then had plans to double cross Constantine, but then Constantine then just ended up ejecting Dominic from the helicopter, and as he was attempting to take off with Miss Piggy, Kermit and then the rest of the Muppets were able to stop the helicopter from taking off. And then, yeah, Kermit then ended up climbing aboard and fought with Constantine. And then, yeah, Miss Piggy and Kermit then were able to fight off Constantine enough. And then, yeah, Kermit then just slapped the mold that Constantine glued on him back to Constantine's face. And then they eventually were able to knock out Constantine. Yeah. And then Constantine and Lemur were then arrested by Sam and Napoleon. Yeah. But then, yeah, as the Muppets then were celebrating their victory, and they were reunited with Kermit, Nadia then arrived back to try to arrest Kermit and take him back for escaping. But then, yeah, the other Muppets then spoke up, like Walter said that now they have Kermit back, they know like what they really wanted from Kermit, and before they really didn't, and just they wanted him there, and they wanted to be a family together. And so yeah, Walter spoke up and said that if Nadia takes Kermit, she would have to take him too. And then Fozzie spoke up and Gonzo, and then yeah, all the other Muppets, and just said that she would have to take all of them. And then yeah, Nadia then relented when she saw that Kermit really did have his family, and then she set him free. But then yeah, then Kermit then told the Muppets that they have to finish off their tour, and so their final performance was then at the Gulag, and then yeah, they were performing with Constantine and the other prisoners with another musical number. And it was funny, when it came time for Kermit to tell Nadia that it was time for her solo, right before she started, then it just cut to the end. Yeah. And then yeah, then the movie then ended up going to credits, and then yeah, during the opening part of the credits, it just showed the fireworks in the sky that ended up resembling the Muppets. It just kept resembling various Muppet characters, yeah. And then yeah, then as the full credits then started up, it showed that the Muppets were just using mechanisms to just pull the ropes to get the credits to rise up. But then yeah, then they used a machine to really get them to move on their own. So yeah, and that's how it ended. So yeah, like I said, it is a pretty good movie. I mean, it does have more of the Muppet style humor than the previous film did, and yeah, overall I do like the story for this film. I do like how it really does have Kermit basically having the evil twin with Constantine, and yeah, the story overall is really good. I mean, like I said, it is very similar to the Great Muppet Caper, and so yeah, as I said, if you haven't seen this before, if you're a Muppet fan, and yeah, and I do think this is still worth a watch. I mean, it does really does seem like the more like the traditional Muppet film than the previous film was. So yeah, so it does have good humor, a good story, and yeah, it's really what you would really want to see in a Muppet film, even though it probably isn't as well paced as several of the other ones. So yeah, so check it out and draw your own conclusion to it. But I do still like it. So yeah, like I said, around 3.25, 3.5 stars out of 4. Yeah, you'll see my final rating down in the description. Alright. And now, with this now being the most recent Muppet film, what could the Muppet future have in store now? I mean, will Disney actually continue on with this specific Muppet series? Will there be a third film as a sequel to this one? Will they do some other Muppet type of spin-off films? I mean, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see if Disney will continue on with the Muppet franchise with this series, or if they will branch out to some spin-off, some other Muppet spin-off Muppet films. So yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I personally have always thought of since these the Muppets are under license to Disney currently, and of course with Disney owning Marvel, I've always thought of what if Disney does some Muppet Marvel parodies. I mean, can you imagine if they had a Muppets Avengers? I mean, yeah, I think that would be pretty funny to see. So yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see what Disney plans to do with the Muppets next. But yeah, so hopefully just now since these films have been overall successes, hopefully the Muppet franchise will be in good hands, and yeah, the reignition can still continue on. So yeah, only time will tell. So yeah, but yeah, I guess that's all I can really say about this film. So yeah, I guess that does it for my review of Muppets Most Wanted. So I hope you guys did enjoy these Muppet movie reviews that I did. Yeah, I hope that they were enjoyable enough for you, for those of you that tuned into these. Yeah, I mean, Muppets are just some of the most iconic characters ever, and yeah, I mean, yeah, and their franchise hopefully will still live on, and they'll be in good hands. So yeah. Alright, so yeah, but I hope you guys enjoy these reviews, and yeah, stay tuned for more stuff that I have coming up. So yeah, but yeah, so hope you did enjoy these reviews. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.